Every culture has dragon legends. Fire-breathing serpents, winged terrors, beasts forged in the depths of human imagination. But Australia didn't need to imagine dragons. For millions of years, one actually existed. And it was worse than any myth. No wings, no fire. Just 7 meters, that's 23 feet, of venomous muscle that didn't need to kill you quickly. It bit you once and waited. Patient, calculated, inevitable. Here's the part that should really keep you up at night. Aboriginal Australians lived alongside this thing for at least 15,000 years, and they might still remember it in some of the oldest legends on Earth. This is the story of the dragon that actually existed. To understand this creature, you need to understand the world it ruled. The Pleistocene epoch, 2.6 million to about 11,700 years ago. During this time, Australia wasn't the sun-baked red desert you picture today. It was part of Sahul, a supercontinent that included Australia, New Guinea, and Tasmania, all connected by land bridges when sea levels dropped during ice ages. A world cut off from the rest of evolution for tens of millions of years. And what a world it was! Lush forests, sprawling wetlands, endless grasslands teeming with the largest animals Australia has ever known. The climate swung wildly between ice ages and warmer periods, but life found a way to thrive in the chaos. Here's what made Sahul different from everywhere else on Earth. On every other continent, when the dinosaurs died out, mammals eventually took over. Reptiles ceded the apex predator throne. Not in Australia. Here, reptiles never gave up the crown. No large mammalian predators ever evolved to challenge them. The throne remains scaled and cold-blooded. And sitting on that throne, Varanus priscus, better known by its legendary name, Megalania. The name translates to the Great Wanderer, though for decades, people mistranslated it as the Giant Butcher. Honestly, both descriptions fit. The largest land lizard that ever existed. And we're about to find out exactly what that means. Let's start with the numbers. And buckle up, because scientists have been arguing about these for decades. Early estimates put Megalania at a terrifying 7 to 8 meters, up to 26 feet long. Then in 2002, a study came along and said, actually, hold on, maybe only 3.5 meters. The scientific community collectively said, what? And went back to the fossils. The latest research from the 2000s and 20s has settled somewhere in the middle, but closer to the terrifying end. Average individuals, 4 to 5 meters. That's 13 to 16 feet, about the length of a sedan. But the biggest individuals, 5.5 to 7 meters. That's 18 to 23 feet, longer than a great white shark, approaching the length of a school bus. Weight, between 575 and 1,000 kilograms. That's 1,270 to 2,200 pounds. As heavy as a polar bear on the low end, as heavy as a small car on the high end. For comparison, the Komodo dragon, the largest living lizard, maxes out at about 3 meters and 70 kilograms. Megalania was 2 to 3 times longer and up to 14 times heavier. But size was just the beginning. Look at the skeleton. That humerus, the upper arm bone, is weird. Massively expanded at the elbow ends, way more than in any other monitor lizard. Why? Anchor points. For enormous muscles designed not for running, but for grappling. For grabbing prey and not letting go. The teeth? Zyphodont. Curved backward, flattened on the sides, with serrated edges like steak knives. Not designed to crush bone, designed to slice flesh. And then there's the armor. In 2015, researchers discovered osteoderms, small bone plates embedded under the skin, forming a natural chainmail suit, protection from rival Megalania during brutal territorial fights. protection from desperate prey fighting back. These weren't just big lizards, they were battle-hardened. So we've got a 7-meter armored lizard with serrated teeth and arms built for grappling. Terrifying, sure, but raw power was only half the story. What made Megalania truly nightmare fuel wasn't what it could do to you, it was what it put inside you. For decades, everyone knew how Komodo dragons killed. The story went like this. Their mouths were cesspools of deadly bacteria. One bite, and the infection would slowly kill you over days. Gross, brutal, almost accidental. By extension, scientists assumed Megalania worked the same way, just a bigger, dirtier mouth. Then 2009 happened. Professor Brian Fry and his team did something no one had done before. They put Komodo dragon skulls into MRI machines. And what they found changed everything. Specialized venom glands in the lower jaw. Not bacteria, actual venom-producing organs. The study was published in PNS, one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world. Komodo dragons are venomous, and so was Megalania. So what does this venom actually do? It's not a neurotoxin, it won't paralyze you instantly like a cobra. It's something more insidious. Two primary effects. First, anticoagulants, chemicals that prevent your blood from clotting. Second, vasodilators, compounds that force your blood vessels to expand. Combined effect? Massive, unstoppable blood loss. Catastrophic drop in blood pressure. The medical term is hypovolemic shock. You don't die from the bite wound itself. You die from bleeding out and passing out. A slow, inevitable collapse. Now, scale that up. A Komodo dragon's venom glands are already dangerous. Megalania was up to 14 times heavier. Proportionally larger venom glands. Proportionally larger venom delivery. One bite from this thing flooded your system with a biochemical cocktail specifically designed to drain you dry. So, to recap, one bite, and you're now a walking blood bag with a steadily growing hole in it. Your blood pressure is crashing. Your wound won't stop bleeding. And the thing that bit you? It's not even in a hurry anymore. Not great. And the way they delivered that venom? The actual mechanics of the attack? That's where it gets even worse. Here's something that seems strange at first. Megalania's bite force was relatively weak. For its massive size, much weaker than crocodiles. Weaker than the marsupial lion that shared its world. How does a giant predator succeed with a weak bite? By not needing a strong one. Scientists used finite element analysis, basically computer stress testing, on Komodo dragon skulls. What they found was revealing. The skull is built like a lightweight space frame. Weak under compression, biting down, but incredibly strong under tension, pulling backward. The skull wasn't designed to crush, it was designed to tear. This leads to a 3-phase attack that's as elegant as it is horrifying. Phase 1, the bite. Ambush from vegetation or a blind spot. Burst speed? 25 kilometers per hour. That's 15.5 miles per hour, faster than you can run. Those serrated teeth slice into flesh with minimal force needed. They act like steak knives, not hammers. Phase 2, the rip. Those massive neck muscles and grappling-built forearms engage. The head yanks backward violently. Teeth become hooks, tearing the wound wide open. A single rip could remove a dinner plate-sized chunk of flesh. Phase 3, venom delivery. Toxins flood into the massive open wound. Anticoagulants ensure it never stops bleeding. The clock starts ticking. And here's the genius part. Unlike big cats that must hold on and suffocate their prey, unlike wolves that must chase to exhaustion, Megalania could bite, rip, and retreat. Then follow at a leisurely walking pace. No need to risk injury in prolonged combat. In an hour, maybe 2, the prey collapses. Patient, calculated, inevitable. This wasn't a gladiator, it was an assassin. One that evolution spent millions of years perfecting. So what exactly was on the menu for a dragon this efficient? In Pleistocene Australia, the answer is almost anything it wanted. The main course, Diprotodon optatum, the largest marsupial that ever lived. Picture this, a wombat the size of a hippopotamus, 2,700 kilograms. That's nearly 6,000 pounds. Slow-moving, poor eyesight, traveled in herds. Perfect Megalania food. One successful Diprotodon kill could sustain a dragon for weeks. But the menu didn't stop there. Procoptodon goliah, the giant short-faced kangaroo, stood over 2 meters tall and weighed more than 200 kilograms, taller than an NBA player. And unlike modern kangaroos, it didn't hop, it walked on 2 legs. There were also Genyornis eggs, giant flightless birds whose nests meant easy protein. Nothing was off the table. But Megalania wasn't the only killer in Pleistocene Australia. Thylacoleo carnifex, the marsupial lion. 100 to 160 kilograms, about the size of a female lion. It had the strongest bite force relative to body size of any mammal ever. Retractable claws, an ambush predator that dropped on prey from trees and cave ledges. Different hunting niche though, it mostly avoided direct competition with the dragon. Then there was Quincana, a crocodile that ran on land. 3 to 6 meters long, with legs positioned under its body, not sprawled like modern crocs. And blade-like teeth, just like Megalania. This was the closest thing to a direct rival. Imagine 2 apex predators, both dragon-like, competing for the same kills. At a Diprotodon carcass, who eats first? The marsupial lion had the bite force, but not the size. Quincana had the size, but faced a venomous opponent. When a 7-meter dragon with toxic blood and armored skin shows up, you wait your turn. Whew. Talk about a rough neighborhood. But Megalania didn't just survive in this world, it ruled it. For millions of years, through ice ages and droughts, it sat at the very top, unchallenged. But here's where it gets really interesting, and a little disturbing. Because Megalania didn't just share Australia with other megafauna, it shared it with us. For years, scientists assumed Megalania went extinct before humans arrived in Australia. The timeline seemed clean. Dragons died out, humans showed up later, end of story. Then 2015 happened. Gilbert Price and his team used uranium-thorium dating, one of the most precise methods we have, on a Megalania osteoderm, one of those armor bones. The result? Only 50,000 years old. Humans reached Australia approximately 65,000 years ago. Do the math. At least 10,000 to 15,000 years of overlap. For context, all of recorded human history, writing, cities, everything, is about 5,000 years. Early Australians lived alongside this dragon for 3 times longer than we've had civilization. This wasn't hypothetical. This was daily reality. And here's where it gets haunting. The Ngurindjeri people of the Murray River region, in what's now South Australia, have preserved stories of a creature called Hui. According to their oral tradition, a giant lizard, 6 to 7 meters long, that's 20 to 25 feet, broad, flat head, lived in a deep cave near the river, moved slowly but was incredibly stealthy. It ambushed villages at night. It could consume an entire tribal group in one feeding. How did they defeat it? Multiple tribes united. They sealed the cave entrance with wood and brush, They burned fires for 7 days. The blinded, suffocating beast emerged, and they killed it with hundreds of spears. Some dismiss the legend because it describes the creature with 6 legs. But that could represent its movement pattern, or carrying prey, or simply 50,000 years of storytelling evolution. The core details, size, reptilian nature, cave dwelling, riverside habitat, ambush predation, match Megalania's ecology perfectly. Aboriginal oral traditions are among the oldest continuous cultural records on Earth. UNESCO has recognized their preservation of geological events from over 10,000 years ago. Sea level rises, volcanic eruptions. If they can preserve memories of coastlines that haven't existed for millennia, why not memories of dragons? These weren't just stories. They might be the oldest eyewitness accounts of a dragon attack in human history. Imagine living with that knowledge. Imagine teaching your children, don't go near the river caves, don't go out at night. The hui is watching. For millions of years they ruled. Through ice ages and droughts, through the rise and fall of countless prey species. Unchallenged, unchanging. And then, about 40,000 years ago, what killed the dragon? 3 theories have competed for decades. Climate change. Australia grew drier, forests shrank, prey disappeared. Human hunting. Fire stick farming transformed landscapes. Direct competition eliminated food sources. Synergistic effect. Climate weakened them, humans delivered the final blow. The truth is probably all 3, working together. Because here's the thing about apex predators. They're always the most vulnerable. Low population density. You can't have too many top predators or they starve each other out. Slow reproduction. Large reptiles can take a decade or more to reach maturity. Massive territory requirements. Each individual needs huge ranges to find enough food. Remove a few breeding females, destroy some nests, fragment the habitat. The population doesn't just decline, it spirals. The extinction vortex is merciless. It wasn't quick like the dinosaurs. No asteroid, no single cataclysm. Generation by generation, the dragons grew fewer. The forests they hunted in became grasslands. The diprotodon herds, their main food source, collapsed. And new predators arrived. Predators with fire, and spears, and numbers. The last Megalania died alone, perhaps starving in a shrinking territory, perhaps speared by hunters who'd finally learned its patterns. Somewhere in the Australian bush, in a moment no one recorded, the Dragon Age ended. For millions of years they ruled. They watched continents drift. They survived ice ages that killed countless species. They were the closest thing to dragons this planet has ever produced. And then, they were gone. We changed their world. We hunted their food.
It is down.
We took their throne. The Dragon Age ended because we showed up. The next time you see a Komodo dragon in a documentary, remember, you're not looking at an island oddity that grew large in isolation. The science now tells us they evolved from Australia. They're not giant island lizards. They're shrunken survivors of a lineage that included dragons bigger than great white sharks. Megalania is gone, but the Komodo dragon is its echo, the last whisper of a dynasty that once ruled an entire continent. And the Aboriginal Australians? They never forgot. For 50,000 years, the Howie lived in their stories. A warning, a memory, a respect for what once ruled the land they walked. The dragons are gone now, but they existed. They ruled. And for thousands of years, our ancestors remembered them. The least we can do is the same. What's the most terrifying prehistoric predator you've learned about? Drop it in the comments. I might cover it next. Thanks for watching, and until next time.